Good afternoon. Do you know the story about the old mule? The mule that nobody wanted. And they didn't even want to waste a bullet on him. They just dug a big hole of 20 feet and decided to just put him in it. And of course, they were shoveling the dirt on his back, and he started to panic. I'd do the same thing. Well, this story comes from Mary Manning Morrissey from her Daily Dream Builder, August the 31st of this year. I happen to get a beautiful notice from her every single day. She's a motivational speaker. I'm here to inform you about the subject of resiliency that happens to mean bouncing back from setbacks. I'll be sharing with you today a bit about my own setback and about a famous ice skating star's setback. Everyone in life, I believe, will have setbacks at some time. And I think this information I will share with you today will help you move on with any kind of setback you might have. The silent screen star, Mary Pickford, was quoted saying, "If you've made mistakes, even serious ones, you always have another chance." And what we might call failure is not the falling down, but it's the staying down. This quote came from a book called Mary Pickford, Rediscovered by Kevin Brownlaw, published in 1999 by Harry Abrams in New York. First, resiliency will be discussed in reference to the famous ice skating star, and also a bit about my own last setback. And then I will enlighten you about tools that you can use to rebound from your setback. Lastly, I will inform you about what I'm doing presently to move forward. First, I'm going to share with you a story about one of the most famous ice skating stars in the entire world. His name is Scott Hamilton. He is known to be the most recognized ice skating star, and his early career was extremely spectacular. He won 70 titles, awards, and honors, including an Emmy Award nomination. He was inducted into the U.S. Olympic Hall of Fame, and he is a privileged member of the World Figure Skating Hall of Fame. Now, 25 years ago, he captured the world's attention by winning an Olympic medal. And since then, he has taken his love and enthusiasm of this sport, and he's become a commentator and a performer and a best-selling author. And he has his own charity based on some of the illnesses that he's been through. He had 2 illnesses, and they were testicular cancer, and the other one was a brain tumor. Now, some of this information I'm quoting from a book that he wrote this year, very inspirational book. I happen to have bought it. The Great 8, How to Be Happy Even When You Have Every Reason to Be Miserable. So, back in March of 1997, he was diagnosed with testicular cancer. And amazing, he went through 12 weeks of chemotherapy, and only 6 weeks after that, he was back on the ice. He is an amazing human being, and he's a world champion. Then also, in November of 2004, he had a brain tumor, and he came through that surgery. And I know someone in my own life, my father had a brain tumor. He went through 2 surgeries, and he only lived for 2 years after that. But to me, he was a champion myself. So I know lots of times people don't recover that. They end up with heart attacks and strokes. But Scott has come through, and he's very alive today. Now, I would like to switch the subject and tell you a little bit about my current setback that I'm working on. 5 years ago, I was married to my now former husband of 18 years, who happens to be 17 years my senior, and he is still a multi-millionaire. And we lived a very privileged, very material life with a lot of perks. He took control of my life, and he did not allow me to bloom and to use the talents that not only God has given me, but the talents that I schooled myself in the performing arts. But of course, I allowed him to do that. I got in a terrible car accident in January of '05, and I sustained broken bones, had 3 surgeries, and I went into what they call chronic depression. I lost all the structure of my life, and I had very little desire to be around anymore. I went through, and during my illness, he, behind my back, went to an attorney and wanted to file divorce, and divorced me while I was ill. And to fast forward on that, we did go get a divorce. And in fact, I think it could be a wonderful script for a soap opera to sell to television. But to lighten up the speech, I would like to now take the opportunity and share with you some of the tools that I'm personally using to help myself rebound. These tools came from a book by B.J. Gallagher, Women's Work is Never Done, published in 2006, Carnegie Press, Maine. How do you rebound? Rethink your strategy. Explore various options. Be willing to change directions. Open your eyes and ears for new opportunities. Understand that life involves both successes and setbacks. Never give up on yourself. That's a big one. Dive into yourself in your next adventure. I also found some other information from a book called The Resiliency Advantage by Al Siebert. And basically, he's telling us that we should focus on our next step. How obvious. Positive attitude journal is a very good recommendation. To write in a journal 5 things every day for 30 days, and you will find a big shift in your head about that. I know I'm doing it, and it's working. So today, I have given you some tools. I've shared a story, a little bit about myself, a little bit about Scott Hamilton, and to also share with you what I'm doing now to move on in my path. I'm here in school, taking this class, taking spiritual classes, computer classes. I'm exercising at the gym 5 times a week. I'm redoing my home and getting rid of old files and starting new files. I'm getting great positive friends, and I'm very happy about where I'm at now. So in conclusion, I have shared these different things, the tools, the stories, and where I'm at. And I'd like to finish it up very quickly with the mule story. Yes, he was panicking, but they kept on throwing that dirt on him. But guess what? He figured out if he could shake it off and step up, that he was going to lift himself up out of that hole. And guess what? He did. He lifted himself out of that hole, and he moved on. And that's exactly what I'm doing. Thank you for your time.